a legendary Dark Cloud unboxing you don't want to miss. Join me as I unbox amazing Dark Cloud packages containing very rare Dark Cloud treasures, all on our doorstep ready to be ripped open, while we talk about Dark Cloud history, only on the Dark Cloud Compendium.
Hidden Castle's Dark Cloud Compendium.
Hey there, and welcome to the Dark Cloud Compendium on our very special episode where we will be unboxing this top secret Dark Cloud package. What could possibly be inside? It could be the Dark Cloud 1999 build. It could be Dark Cloud 3. It could very well be empty. Well, it's none of the above, but it's a very rare piece of Dark Cloud promotional material graciously given to us by none other than Compendium contributor Mr. Matthew. Thank you from the bottom of my Hidden Castle heart. Now, without further ado, let's unbox this package together and find out just what's inside.
Alright, it's time we open package number 1. Now if you enjoy Dark Cloud content, feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Dark Cloud. Now inside of our package is our Georama approved cardboard protector. It's what's inside the protector that matters, and today we have none other than the legendary Dark Cloud trading cards. Now this package came with the trading cards and demo all together, uncut. Now I really hope the camera is able to pick it up, but the colors on the packaging are much more deeper than they are on the retail version of the game. Notice the clouds in the background being red without the purple and black hues that we're familiar with, and when rolling it over, it even includes a Dark Cloud envelope. Could you imagine writing your ransom notices to take over the world, all in Dark Cloud fashion? I love the look of the mountain and the 2 moons in the sky above. Let's open it up and... wow! Look at that, the demo is still brand new and sealed, and you can notice the holographic cards at the very front. Now these cards look breathtaking, the holographic effect is really unique and special. I really hope the camera is able to pick it up, but in person they look amazing. Having these cards all together in their uncut form is really rare, as unfortunately a lot of these Dark Cloud cards made their way into the recycle bin once that demo was removed. Oh no, alright, well, Tone looks like he has a bit of an injury on his eye, but that's okay because all these cards are still together in their uncut form. Now a bit of history on these cards: they were created as a promotional item for Dark Cloud. Notably, the character bios expand the world of Dark Cloud through lore, and also feature bizarre names like Xiao and Cheetah. The main reason for this is due to the fact that Dark Cloud was still being localized to North America, so the names were not finalized. You can notice that Goro is a Matagigan hunter, Tone is referred to as Toran from time to time. If you're wondering about these Dark Cloud trading cards, I actually did a deep dive video on them. I love how they're going out of their way to have Colonel Flag when, in reality, in the events of Dark Cloud, he's a very minor character, only showing up once or twice in the game. It's still really cool to see. And Xiao at this point was still using pachinko balls. They didn't quite remove that from the localization quite yet. Interestingly, these pachinko balls can be found in the game's data, and Paige had her weapon be her good looks. Very funny. Having these cards all together in their complete diorama form, even after 20 years, is truly magical. Being able to preserve them in video form for the Dark Cloud community is very important, as it helps get the word out there of these Dark Cloud cards, as it helps preserve these cards for years to come. After more than 20 years, this lost chapter of Dark Cloud's history has finally reached the hands of the lost media preservation community and the Dark Cloud Compendium. This is the first time that these figures were ever seen on video, so gather around, let's take a closer look at what's been eluding us for all those years. Dark Cloud's figures of Tone and Seda, lost media no more. Many moons have passed waiting for these figures to arrive, and when it was finally time to release our Dark Cloud heroes from their cardboard Atla prisons, one thing took me by surprise as I was unwrapping them, and that was the small details and the style of paint that Blue Box Toys used when creating these statues. They just looked so vibrant and full of detail and color. The build quality is hefty and heavy as they're made of resin. A quick scan around both figures reveal that there is no company copyright text that's usually common in other action figures and statues. Had Dark Cloud's figures had this from the beginning, it would have made them so much easier to find out who created them, but for some reason, it was omitted. Tone's figure has long hair and his poncho flowing. And speaking of his poncho, it looks phenomenal as there's subtle small details such as the shadows around the fabric folds and the individual sculpting of each strand of hair and the poncho stitching. It looks really impressive for a statue from the early 2000s, as other figures from that era would have lazily painted on these subtle features, but rather Blue Box opted for a two-pronged approach to sculpt the finer details and paint on top of them. You can tell that there is care given to this Dark Cloud product, unlike the online advertising. Tone features a really odd expression, but I have to admit, it did grow on me over time. It resembles European animation like Wakfu. It feels really cool seeing another company officially reinterpret Tone, since we got so very little Dark Cloud official representation in multimedia. His arms were lost to the sands of time. However, through using Blue Box Toys' advertisement as our primary source, we can get a clearer look at what Tone would have looked like had he been complete, as he would have been wielding this amazing looking sun sword, which is fascinating as Tone is always depicted in official art as wielding the dagger. Moreover, his other hand featured a light green glass gem of an Atlamelia, which is really impressive. Again, Blue Box Toys didn't paint on any features, and in the Atlamelia's case, glued on a glass gem, giving a premium look. Now the facial expression, the sun sword, and this pose does beg the question, did Level 5 and Sony send Blue Box Toys key arts of their Dark Cloud characters and design guidelines for Blue Box to adhere to? Was a sculptor given free rein to reinterpret these iconic characters? Now I mention this as we've never seen a 3D render or official art of Tone resembling this pose or wielding the sun sword, but the few photos that we have of Ruby's statue looks fairly accurate to the official art, as they're both posed in a similar way, as Ruby's figure follows this official pose in Dark Cloud's art. Overall, I think Blue Box Toys did a really good job with Tone in this figure. With that being said, I would have much rather had his facial expression resemble how he appears in the final version of the game, but I also appreciate this different look. Hey, it's not every day we see our favorite Georama protagonist reinterpreted through official media. Now let's move on to Seda, and the first thing that stuck out to me with this figure was his hair, as Blue Box Toys painted it this iridescent silver as he's caught in this chaotic battle pose. The sculpting is expressive and full of purpose, and I really do like the color they used on both of these figures, as they both have this washed out watercolor aesthetic, almost as if both figures leaped out of a page of concept art. You can see that they sculpted each individual strand, giving it this really cool look. Referring back to Blue Box Toys advertisements, we can see that Seda would have featured his familiar greatsword. Unfortunately, the figure we got lost his blade ages ago. The quality only continues as care was also put into the creation of the figure mounts, which is also made of a durable resin. Putting this mount towards the light allows it to illuminate and bask in the glow, giving it this radiant appearance. The added glitter applied also really does bring out that otherworldly feeling. Each curve of the dark clouds is sculpted into the resin rather than lazily being painted on, giving it a rather dynamic 3D look, which feels great to touch. It makes every detail pop out. Now, there's more to this mount than meets the eye, as keen Dark Cloud fans would have noticed that this logo is familiar, as it's based on the original logo for Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud's logo did go through a number of changes throughout development, as it originally appeared much more cartoonish looking, as it featured purple clouds emerging from the dark urn. When Dark Cloud later reappeared at Tokyo Game Show 2000, the logo evolved into this much more fantasy-inspired design, removing that charming urn altogether. Now, this logo was only used briefly, as it once again evolved into its final form that we're all familiar with. It all makes me think, why would Blue Box use the original 1999 logo of Dark Cloud for a product that was releasing well into 2001 with a new logo altogether, when Dark Cloud saw a number of revisions, making that logo on the mounts out of date? It really does make me think that maybe Blue Box Toys just liked the look of the previous logo. Again, there's no copyright names or dates engraved onto the mounts, which is very odd indeed, as it's typical practice for companies to put their copyright text anywhere on the figure, but here they are, Dark Cloud's figures and mounts with no copyright holders to be found. It's a tragedy that these figures fell into the bargain bin, and even more so that they're quickly forgotten into lost media by the same community that was meant to embrace them, as you can tell that Blue Box Toys put a lot of love and effort into their creation, and it's a shame that we never got a good look at the rest of the figures. I personally would have loved to see the approach they would have taken with Ruby's more complex Harabi design and the shading technique they would have used for the rickety bones of the master jackets. Simply put, these figures did not deserve to be lost media. I really wish that all parties involved, Level 5, PlayStation, and Blue Box Toys, would have allowed these figures to have a wider release, because I really do think the fans would have taken a liking to them and would have went out of their way to collect them all. Legendary Dark Cloud cards and our forbidden Dark Cloud figures. What could possibly be unopened next? Let's find out together, but before then, comment down below, Dreamcast, PS2, which did you prefer? I'm genuinely curious. Opening up our package, it's none other than a Japanese promo item only released in Famitsu magazine. None other than Dark Cloud's Japanese phone card. It was released as a commemorative item to mark the release of Dark Cloud in Japan. RPGs often get phone cards in Japan, like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, and Dark Cloud was no different. I must have heard about this item from fellow Dark Cloud collector Kai about 8 years ago. Collectibles like these make me love Dark Cloud collecting. At the end of the day, it's not about rarity or value, and after years of being patient, it's finally here. Like the American Dark Cloud card set, the Japanese phone card has a breathtaking holographic pattern. The purple clouds are full of life and glimmer all along the card. The material is made of a very thin plastic. It would rip if you tried hard enough. Unlike the European Dark Cloud card, which was made of a hard plastic, like a real credit card would. Another Dark Cloud collectible, preserved for the Dark Cloud Compendium. And coming into our final Dark Cloud package, Dark Cloud has a lineage of cancelled products within its production. The Dark Cloud figures in particular captivated me for a lifetime. I like to approach and imagine the Dark Cloud Compendium as a museum, a place to celebrate Dark Cloud's history, and cancelled products not only come in the form of video games, oh no, but also in the form of figures as well. Throughout our lost media research for the Dark Cloud figures, we came across a complete production figure list made by BBI Toy, and when we had the opportunity to properly document this lost production list, I couldn't say no. It may seem little, but this is an important chapter in Dark Cloud's history. The merchandise and how Level 5 and Sony wanted Dark Cloud to be seen by fans. At the end of the day, marketing is the key to everything. This gave us a very rare and unique look at the prototypes of these figures and how they were altered throughout development. And how there's even characters that were never made. Ruby, the Dark Genie, and Minotaur Joe. These would have been used by BBI as wave number 2. These figures didn't sell very well, and all plans for wave 2 were cancelled. A rare look into the unknown world of Dark Cloud material, delivered to our very door from all around the world. Many of you may not have been aware of Dark Cloud's trading card, Forbidden Figures, the complete figure list. In addition to the international telephone card, it all makes Hidden Castle wonder how much Dark Cloud material is out there that went undocumented. In a way, I'm thankful. Even though Dark Cloud and Chronicle came out more than 20 years ago, having lost media, treasures, and even material that we may not be aware of, keeps the conversation of Dark Cloud going alive. Dark Cloud and Dark Chronicle will only truly die if we allow them to be forgotten. There's even more Dark Cloud content yet to come, from 2025 until the bitter end of time. Join me on my never-ending quest to document everything relating to Dark Cloud. With that being said, my name's Hidden Castle, and thank you for visiting the Dark Cloud Compendium.
Many thanks go out to these amazing Compendium patrons. Without them, our Compendium wouldn't be possible. Anna,
Sundial Shark,
Jamie Jackson,
Story Lover,
JP Jamin,
Weeb Warrior,
Ryan Seven,
GD Break,
Trash Cats,
Ronin 395,
Rapulsar.
And many thanks to Compendium allies throughout the years in our very own Dark Cloud community. Thank you. Without you, it just wouldn't be the same, would it? And many thanks to our Moon Sea mega supporter GD Break, who has a message for the Dark Cloud community. GD Break wishes that everyone had a great start to 2025 and the new year will be great for all of us. And you know, I think GD Break is onto something. From the Dark Cloud Compendium, I'm working on many videos on lost media, interviewing developers who worked at Level 5, in addition to creating new animations, giving us an extended look on Dark Cloud's lore and characters too. There's a lot to be seen, and the best thing is we're all celebrating it together as a community. Thank you GD Break, thank you patrons, and thank you viewers from all around the world. The Dark Cloud Compendium wouldn't be possible without any of you here, and this journey is much more fun for it. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.